Hi, everybody. Okay, it's been a really long time, and I apologize. I have a lot going on, but I really wanted to come on here because I was watching Forrest Rock's video earlier about the whole um, Eric Garner situation, and if you guys don't know, Eric Garner was murdered basically on television by a police officer. He was choked to death, and basically, he died, and the grand jury did not indict the officer for his murder, so he was set free. This is off right off the heels of the whole Ferguson. Um, this is so frustrating. Okay, Ferguson situation with the young man Mike Brown was murdered, gunned down by a police officer also. So basically, as it stands now, um, what we've always known as Black people, I think the world is being privy to. We could say white America. We can even say I say the world because of YouTube and social media within the past 5 to 7 years has exposed us, has allowed us to view things at a whole different level. Okay, where a long time ago the media was able to keep everything under wraps, only let us know what they want us to see. But now, as individuals, as having cell phones and having access to social medias like Twitter and Instagram and even YouTube, well, I'm making my YouTube video now to even get my point of view across. People just being just not becoming aware and enlightened of what's going on. But me as a Black person, I've always been aware, and I don't know if a lot of you know, but I was born in Georgia. I was born in Columbus, Georgia, and I was raised in Atlanta. So I was raised in the South. I live in Southern California now, but I'm not a stranger to racism. Um, I'm from Stone Mountain, and if you guys didn't know, KKK originated in Stone Mountain, and there's a lot of history there as far as racism and violence and all those type of situations. But I'm on here to share my point of view because I was watching Rox and she said something that struck a chord with me. She was saying that we just want to do the same thing you want to do. We want to be able to go to the movies with our family, with our kids, have nice things, you know what I mean, afford them the different privileges of the world, travel, you know what I mean. And as a Black person, it's super hard to do that if you don't have a proper foundation. Meaning parents like mine who taught me how to behave and how to carry myself when I'm in a white person's presence, as to not escalate or agitate the situation. And it's just something that I knew to do because they always kept saying like the way my parents were not doing it. I don't necessarily do it that way, but they would just say, "White people, don't trust them, leave them alone. No, feed them with a long spoon. They're not your friend." And for me, as I gotten older, of course, I have formed my own opinion, and I have relationships with people of multiple different ethnicities, especially living in Southern California. There's Blacks, there's Mexicans, there's Asians, of course, there's white people. There's a lot of different Pacific Islanders. You have Native Americans, Indians. Well, I'm gonna say Native American. So I'm friends with all these different cultures and ethnicities, but um, just me being a mom, and I have all boys. Like I have 4 young men, Black men, and they're dark skinned Black like me. And in America, yeah, that's a whole nother set of problems. Yeah, you're Black, but then you're a dark skinned Black person. Oh, that's a no no. That's like a double no no. And in addition to that, I have a child with special needs. So hey, give me my spanking spoon. Mommy's making a video. I'll be back. Can you say hi? Hi. Hi. Can you turn this light on for me? Of course. That's a lamp. Thank you. Thank you for turning the lamp on. That's a bad yes. Close the door when you're on your way. Close the door for me. Thank you. Okay, like I was saying. And I have a child with special needs. And I have so many different concerns. Like I don't want them to leave the house. When they first started school, I was so scared that somebody would say something to them or to make them feel less than a human being because they're Black. And I can't control that. All I can do is give them the tools and how to deal with it. And it's frustrating and it's disheartening that I have to have a totally different conversation with in addition to the normal stuff that's dealing with a teenager period or kids period. I have to give them a separate set of rules as to how to behave yourself when you're Black, as to not offend or scare or or intimidate people who don't look like you. Um, and I'm not just gonna say white people because it's not just white people. It's a lot of different people. Anything with black people just look down on it and think it's just the most disgusting thing in the world. And I'm not gonna say people, but a lot of people are like that. Racist specifically, we'll say racist people. And I can't imagine, like, just my son Isaiah, you just saw him. He's 6 years old and he has autism. Okay, granted, his autism is more of a high functioning side, but I'm terrified to let him leave the house and let him grow up and like get a job and be around other people and experience what I had to go through. Like, I don't know if he's going to be properly prepared. I don't know if any of my children will be properly prepared. All I can do is say, when we go out to different places, this is what you do. No, sit down, be quiet. Nope, you're talking too much. No, leave that person alone. Let them do their job. Because my 8-year-old has a tendency to befriend anybody. We go to Costco and he'll read the person's name tag. He'll go, "Oh, hi, Mr. Brad. My name's Omar." Da, 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 da. And sometimes the cashiers indulge him and sometimes they don't. They're just like, whatever. You know what I mean? And if I pick up on it, I'm like, "Omar, just leave it alone." He's like, "But why? I'm just having a conversation." Like, he doesn't understand that that person probably doesn't want to talk back with you because of what you look like. Okay? There was an incident where we were at a mall. And you know how the mall, you have the play areas. So they went to the play area. I'm letting them play. And like it's a little Mexican girl at the top of the slide. And then his dad was over there, you know, because he's watching. And I'm all, whenever we go out, I'm like, you take them, I take them. We on duty. Like, don't nobody bother my kids. And I don't want my kids bothering other people. So he overhears a little girl say, black people can't be up here. Only, like, black people can't be up here. You can't be up here because you're black. And I didn't hear it. So his dad was like, "Omar, come over here." Like, he talked to him. He said, and I don't know what he told my son, but I know he told me, he said out loud, my son can be up here if he wants to. He has a privilege to be up here. He can do that. Any of the children can be up here. And he kind of addressed the little girl. And I guess she got scared and went out to her mom. I would have handled it differently. I would have said, "Where's your mom at?" And I would have went to the mom and said, "This is what your child said to my child. I don't appreciate it. And it's not, you know what I mean?" I wouldn't dealt with the kid. I don't do that. I deal directly with the parent. And of course, she probably learned it at home. But, you know, whatever. I can't, that's not my job to correct that little girl. It's her parents' job, okay? But that was another incident. Also, we do pretty decent. I know you got a lot of you guys know about. We live in a decent neighborhood. We don't live in a more urban area. It's more suburban, okay? And predominantly white and Mexican. Well, I would say white, predominantly white. So all the people of authority in my son's life are white. Hell, hey, go put on the shirt and some underwear, and some pants. Close my door. Bye. That was Eli. Hey, close the door. Okay. So his principal's white. His teachers are white. His vice principals are white. The police officers are white. You know what I mean? Every time you turn around, there's like somebody who doesn't look like him in a position of power telling him what he's supposed to do. Okay. And there's structure, there's rules. So that's not nothing I'm going to say, "Oh, don't tell my kid what to do." No, you're his teacher. If he's acting up, you're supposed to correct him. You know what I mean? And my son came home one day. This is an 8-year-old, and he was saying, "Mom, I don't want, I want to be the only black person in my family. I want a white wife. I want white kids. I want all my friends to be white. I only want to be the only black person." And it just it was like a punch to my throat. I was like, why? Why do you think that? Like, sit down and tell me why. And he couldn't say. He was just like, "I don't know. It's just, all my friends are white, you know." And from that day on, that was when he was like in the sixth. He was 5 or 6 in the first grade of kindergarten. And ever since that day, I made it a point to meet up with black families. So I have 4 kids, so I have a large family. So I make it a point to meet up with other black families who are big as mine, if not bigger, not. And I have these play dates because they have to see what we look like. When they get a little bit older, I'm going to send them to my mom's house in Georgia so they can be around my family. And I grew up in a predominantly black area, but these were doctors and lawyers, people with money, okay? But, Atlanta is like booming with prominent black people. But he doesn't see that here. So I have to literally go out of my way for them to meet different things so they can see different sides of the spectrum. But at the same time, I have to try to sneak in, or even maybe at this point, after everything has happened, just sit down and break it down to them. Like, this is how society views Black people. This is how you behave so you don't get hurt or mistreated. This is how you recognize when you're being mistreated and how to correct yourself and conduct yourself in a proper manner. Like, you always have to be on top of everything. No, you can't be late. No, you can't be mouthing off to your teacher. Yes, you have to turn in all your work. Yes, you have to fill out all the paperwork on time in a timely manner. Be on time, do your work. I tell my son that all the time. Mind your business, do your work. You don't need to worry about whatever other person is doing. He got in trouble at school because some little girl told him to do something and he did it. Now I'm like, first of all, you're your own person. Use your mind. Don't listen to nobody else has to do. Like, I wasn't that kid. Like, you're not gonna coax me into doing something I don't want to do. And he just wants to be everybody's friend and be a people pleaser, so he did it. And I had to explain to them. And Rock said, who was that? Is it Rock say that? No, I was watching Lovely T 2002. She was talking about how she has to deal with her son, saying there are two different justice systems. You have the white criminal justice system, you have one for Black people, one place for Black people. And she was saying your white friends can get away with certain things that you won't ever in your life be able to get away with. So don't do it. If you see them doing it, nope, you can't be a part of it. So, and I have to get to a point where I have to tell my kids that. My kids are young. They're 8. They're 2, 4, 6, and 8. Okay, but I feel like I don't even know how to open the dialogue to that, to even talk to him about how to conduct yourself directly. Because right now I just say, this is how you behave. You sit down, you follow directions, you do your work. It's not, this is how you do it because you have to, because you're Black. Because if you don't, people are going to put these stereotypes on you. They're going to judge you. They're going to do whatever, XYZ to you. And I don't even know how to start the conversation on that. So maybe you guys who already have teenagers, because my kids are young, like I said, please put down in the comments, like, what are the different ways that you approach this conversation with your kids? Like I said, I have all boys and one with special needs. And I could imagine, like, the little 12-year-old boy who had the toy gun. I don't let them watch violence, toy guns. No, we don't do that. We don't say kill or die or hurt. We don't use there's certain trigger words I don't let them say. I'm like, no, we don't talk like that. And I'm really skeptical to let them watch Ninja Turtles, all those fighting ninja shows, because I don't want them to. I just don't want it to be a situation to where I just know where it's going to lead to, and I just want them to be aware. If I can properly prepare them to be aware, to expect certain things, and then this is how you handle it if you do encounter it. That's my goal, and to set them off in life, I will be a happy mom. But getting back to Isaiah, like, I can imagine him just casually playing or something like that. Because one, he has asthma. My son has asthma. 2, he's special needs, so you're not dealing with a normal person. So he always kind of has a delayed reaction to things. So what if he's like 18 or something, pulled over, or just at the bus station minding his business, and a police officer walks up to him just because he can and accosts him? Like, I'm terrified. That's like a stress nightmare I have for my son, for all 4 of them, to be honest with you. And it's and like I was telling my granddad and my mom, they were like, you just got to pray about it, because it's in God's hand. We don't have control over other people's actions and what happens in our lives. But at the same time, it's like, I just want to make sure they're properly prepared for anything. And like I said, I was always taught, like, this is how you behave. They're not your friends, so don't even for a second think that they are. And I always thought that was a little biased, like that was like a little wrong. So of course I don't have that mentality now, but that's how I was raised to think, and I don't want them to think like that, because that's not okay, to be honest with you. Um, but yeah, let me go ahead and go, honey. I'm done. That's all I wanted to say. Put my 3 cents in. I had a question, like, for women who already have their teenagers. How did you deal with it, or even at 8 years old, or what was the youngest? Like, how did you start the conversation with preparing your Black child for the world, or for the conversation of being, the conversation of just saying, this is how you conduct yourself, because you don't want to get in trouble. You don't want to be on the opposite end of that spectrum. Like, keep yourself hidden, so to speak. Fall in line, do what you're supposed to do. And not for the reasons just because you're supposed to do it, but I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want you to die. I don't want to have to bury you. And that's basically it, guys. All right. Bye.